Hello everybody, my name is Benji and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program, where last time we made all of our planetary smelting rigs and completely decimated my power grid yet again. But it's okay because we have the power of the Dyson swarm to actually help us out a little bit. You can see up here we're generating a nice cool 82 megawatts, and that is going to be increasing every single time they can fire. We can see the lifetime of the sails and how many total sails are in the system down here. Our sails only last for an hour and a half currently. We can see how many are in orbit. None of them are dying yet because the system has only been running for like 45-ish minutes total game time. And we look up and we can see our wonderful ring. So in between episodes, I didn't really do a whole lot. I placed a bunch of these wind turbines down to help with the power grid a little bit. Specifically to help make sure that this coal plant never fails, because when the power gets below satisfaction, the miners will shut down. And if the miners shut down, that's bad. As you can see, we are currently in the green, or I guess in the blue, but we have all of our drones moving. And that's because of the fact that I actually set up the drones to be moving and grooving, and we're still good on power. The way that I fixed that was I bumped everything down to 12 megawatts charging instead of 30 megawatt charging. And everything is still at 100% as well. Yeah, everything's still at 100% for the minimum load of drones. So for this episode, we have... wrong button. We have a couple of things that we could focus on now that our power grid is up and running. And I think the main thing that I'd like to focus on is getting setups complete with these towers in regards to all of our stuff. Where is all of our stuff? All of our stuff is over here. Yeah, in regards to these guys. So, we already have one for prisms. Prisms is finished. We already have one for green circuits. So, green circuits are also finished. We've got the purple prisms and the solar sails, but those aren't exactly setups. Those are just kind of use them as you need things for our Dyson swarm launchers. So the main ones that I actually want to place and get ready to go today would be the gear blueprint. Let me bring it out here. And we need a spot to place these. So I could place them down here, but I want to leave room to expand the rows here, which they should be able to expand farther down south. South? Is this south? North. Farther down north. I've never heard down north before, but that's a new one. So I think I'd like to place these somewhere. Excuse me, my goodness. I can't speak today. Something's caught in my throat. I think I'd like to place these close, but not super close. So let's go on ahead and put the gear one like up here, and I'll need some foundations for that. Okay. So we're gonna go place these guys up here. Is this the right spot? I hate that I have to open up that blueprint book every time. Yeah, this was the right spot. And we'll just put him here, so we'll need... from here down. And I can change the size so that I'm not wasting any of my foundations or soil. Soil's the main thing that I'm worried about conserving. And now we can take the gear blueprint and put it there. What am I missing? Ah, belt mark 2s. I'll have to go get some of those, but that's fine, because once I place these down, I'm just gonna leave and do it all myself. That way you guys don't have to watch. And then there's the one for the copper magnets. And that should really be everything, except for things like motors, which motors are actually decently expensive in terms of the planetary hubs, because planetary, it takes 2. Since it takes 3 ingredients, you can see on the left side there, there's 3 outputs coming from the one planetary tower. And then the output of the motors goes into the next tower. So where can we place this? This one's modular, so if I want to ever, you know, expand upon this, I just have to place down another blueprint. Let's put him down here. Collide with other object. Oh, there's a belt there. Well, that would be a problem. Yeah, that would be another object, wouldn't it? Okay, in that case, I guess let's see if we can keep them close here. This won't be 100% organized like our later game facilities will be, because there's so much water. And I don't have enough soil or foundation or patience to deal with that fact. Okay, and now that this one is done, we're just gonna drop this to like 1500 and do the same here. And then we're gonna put in our pretty standard 20 drones. Okay, don't know what that did. And then bump that up to 100. Apparently I never put that in for that blueprint, so that's fine. We're gonna drop both of these guys down to 1500 as well. Just like that. That's 1600, that's 1500. And then we're gonna drop this down to 1500. Grab our 20 drones, like that. And now I need to go get belts, because I think that's all we're missing at this point. Yeah, it's trying to do these guys now. Do I have any more planetary hubs, by the way? There it is. No, I'm out of those. But that's fine. We don't really need any more of those as of yet. Because this is the last big blueprint that we're going to be putting down for a while. And then this is demand, this is demand, this is demand. Bump all of these down to 1,000. And then if I had to take a wild fucking guess, that crashed our grid? No, it did not. Well, actually, we didn't even power these guys yet. There, now that we're running power, let's see if it crashes the grid. No, it's still fine. It is still fine. I'm only going to put 10 drones in here, because it's not like we're going to be transporting motors all over the place as of yet. So I'm going to go grab the belts, and then bring you guys back in, and we'll start doing some blueprint kind of stuff for oil, actually. That's kind of next on my agenda for today. And if we can, I'm probably going to start looking into another power source, because the oil stuff is going to take a lot more than this Dyson swarm is going to be capable of. Well, maybe not, actually, because we're only like half capacity right now, and it's 137 megawatts. The only limiting factor will be the ray receivers, because they can only get 20 so megawatts each, roughly speaking, and they're pretty hard to find good, consistent places to actually put them down. But anyway, enough talk. I've wasted enough of your time. I'm gonna go place some belts. See you in a few. And just like that, all of the belts have been placed, all of the systems are running. You can see we have the copper magnets, we have the iron gears, and we have a couple of motors as well, all fully finished and ready to rock and roll. Our glass is still moving and grooving. Our glass and stone production is still moving as it should be, because we still need the prisms, which we need for these. Yeah, uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's a problem. What's the problem? Oh, graphene. That's fine. Graphene is a very easily fixable problem. I don't know if this is a glitch or if this is completely intended, but you can just grab all of the materials out of a bin that you're standing right next to, and then you can configure the planetary logic towers. And by configuring the tower, you can place the graphene straight into the tower, which is pretty convenient when you're all the way across the planet like this, and you don't want to have to make so many trips back and forth. But also, you'll notice that the entire oil setup has been completely and entirely ripped out. We also have some more logic towers, which I went on ahead and grabbed. So now we get to start blueprinting and planetary logicking. I don't know if logicing's a word, but hey, still. We get to start doing blueprints and official stuff for our oil. So we're going to base this off of a Mark 1 belt, which is 6 per second, I believe. Yeah, 6 per second. And that's going to require 12 of these oil refineries here. So the way this is going to work is we're going to have a planetary logic tower that is requesting oil. I'm going to cap it at roughly half, and then do that. And we will have one oil output coming out the back here. And then this output belt will go all the way around all of our machines. And our machines, let's just give ourselves a tiny bit of space and put them here. Our machines still have a double output problem. So we've got the one output that's going to go down like this, and it'll go along the side. And then we'll have the other output here go up, and then it will have another belt coming like so, and then we should be able to do this, and that should be adequate for blueprinting. Then we're going to take our sorter Mark 1, put it in, take our other sorter Mark 1, put hydrogen on the lower belt, and the refined oil on the upper belt, if it would let me. There we go. So the way that this works is we're going to have... Where's my replicator? This. We're going to have 6 oil per second coming in, 6 refined oil, this petroleum stuff, this, the refined oil, coming out, and 3 hydrogen coming out, because it's a 1-to-1 and a 2-to-1. So this will give us half a belt of hydrogen and a full belt of our light refined oil. And then all we have to do is take this building, copy it, and that should be able to paste. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and I messed that one up because of course I did. And 6. Now, sadly, that did not put in the back sorters. The back sorters need to be placed manually, which is very sad. Because you can't copy and paste belts onto belts for some reason. I'm still not entirely sure why on that one. But next up, we're just going to go on ahead and grab this, and then we're going to paste it yet again, and we can make this nice and compact, like that, where we have the oil belt flowing underneath everything else. And then we just have this snake under, like so, to there. Next up, all we have to do is hook in the power. So one power pole goes there, one goes there, one goes there, and then repeat that for the next layer up. Ah, and then the recipe. I almost forgot about the recipe. Come on, just let me paste it. There we go. And just like that, we have 6 refined light oil per second and 3 hydrogen per second in this one little bit of space right here. And actually, since it doesn't take up all that much space overall, I think what I might do, which I know, completely crazy thought here, I might up it to be a 12 belt, 12 per second belt, because this is not a lot of space. And early game, we don't need a whole lot of all of these materials. So yeah, you know what? I say, why not? Let's upgrade this to a 12 belt. And the way that we upgrade it to a 12 belt is literally just that. Now, the difference is the fact that I am going to have to use priority splitters. Like that. That way, it actually goes to each row separately. But then the good news is the fact that we can take this belt and downgrade it. Because the belt that goes through 6 of these machines only has to be a 3 belt. And the Mark 1 belt is a 6 belt. And that's the lowest we can get. So we don't need to waste our resources on 12 belts. 12 per second belts. When I say 12 or 3 or 6 or whatever belt, that's what I mean. And there we have our oil setup. The last thing that we need to do, for anybody following along, is just take our outputs and put them in to the logic tower. And then we just take this one and finagle our camera to a point where it'll actually allow us. Like that. And then same thing here. And then run this all the way like that. What's your problem? What's your problem? Why do some of these sorters not like things? Is that happening anywhere else, or is that only up here? That seems to only be an issue up there, so I will fix that momentarily. First things first, though. Finagle the camera. Oh, I had it. There it is. And then we're gonna have to do some more camera finaglation. Oh, come on, man. Just put the belt where I want you to. It's not that hard. That was the most finagling I've ever had to do with the camera as of yet in this game. There we go. Alright. This is going to be some real fancy schmancy camera finaglation, that's for sure. because I have to actually go in manually and reset all of these. Are any of the rest of these guys angry? Or are they fine? Looks like they're all fine. So this should now be working. And this is our blueprint. Also, I can't remember if I showed this last stream, but if you have a blueprint book like this, you have a save path string that you have to copy, or at least it's easy if you copy instead of memorize it. Then you can properly go into your system here. Ooh, that's gonna get in the way. Unless I'm smart like that and can do it perfectly. Nice. Then you paste your string. Make sure it doesn't overwrite anything. Go ahead and name it. And then I am going to put a description. 12 oil in, 12 refined oil out, 6 hydrogen out. Did I spell that right? I did. And then we're gonna go on ahead and make this... We'll do refined oil. No, we'll just do oil. And then we can save the blueprint. And now we have our oil cracking blueprint. And I am just gonna keep this one right here because we have some oil sources that are just right here. So now I can just put that one in. And then I'm also just going to go along this fault line here. And put this other oil source in. So I have no idea if fault line is the correct terminology for all of this. Ah, yes, I forgot to do this when I did the blueprint. That's fine. I don't feel like renaming it. I'll just have to remember that for the future. And we can already hear it starting up now. I do have some oil in my inventory and over here as well. I also do have some hydrogen just kind of stored in these fluid tanks. And I don't really want the hydrogen in these fluid tanks. There's the oil. And just like that. Boom. So what's next in terms of oil cracking? Well, I also forgot to power it. Oh well. Is that working? That should be working. This should be a 6 belt. So... yeah, okay, that is working. That is working, that's good. Next up, in terms of oil, we're going to need a design for graphene, but graphene requires sulfuric acid. Plastic does not, but we'll get to plastic later. So we need sulfuric acid. And this one, I think I am gonna do a 6 belt because you get 4 every 6 seconds. That's 2 every 3 seconds. Ooh. So you would need 3 machines to make 2 every second. 18 machines to do 1 per second, right? I'm gonna do some more math. That's a little bit of an insight to how I do my math in order to actually figure out the ratios for all of this and the amount of machines that you need. So I'm gonna go do math and then we'll actually build that blueprint. I'll be back. So, lo and behold, I was correct. It is 9 machines making sulfuric acid in order to get a full belt. Well, for a full 6 belt of sulfuric acid per second, which is 6 per second, like I keep on mentioning. Now, issue I might run into here is actually space. but for now, we're gonna say that this is enough space. We're gonna put this here. So sulfuric acid is going to be the supply that we finish here. And we're gonna drop this down to half. And sulfuric acid requires 3 ingredients. However, this planet is covered in water. So right now, I'm just not going to include the water in the tower. And I can just put pumps wherever I need to in order to get the water. But it does require this refined oil. And it does require stone. So I can put demand and demand on these two. Jack this up to 100%. And then we need to figure out a way that I can put 9 machines this way in a way that looks good. And I think the way that I do that, first of all, I need 2 output belts, 1 for stone, 1 for refined oil. And if I remember correctly, it takes more stone and more refined oil to make the sulfuric acid, so these actually need to be 12 belts. It's not 12 resources in its entirety, but it does need to be a 12 belt. The water, however, is equal parts, so this will be the water input. And then from here, what we can do is we can put our chemical plants. What I'm thinking of doing is taking 4 of them, like this, and then we'll have the sulfuric acid come back. And then we'll have all of the resources come back. So we'll have 1 resource, 2 resource, and the water come back. And then we can grab our chem plant again, make sure it's in line, and then we can run 5 of them. And that'll keep the blueprint in the correct ratios. Also, I don't know what it is, but ever since I've been home from college, I have been getting an increasingly obnoxious number of scam texts. Can't explain it, don't know why, kind of miffed. And then from there, we just need to run our final sulfuric acid belt, like so. And then we can run that guy into there. Now the thing I'm gonna do that I didn't do for the previous build is actually use the copy drag function, because I forgot that that existed for a second, and I feel rather stupid about it. That was 1 too far, and then the water comes this way, like that. So the copy drag function, I've shown off a little bit beforehand. First of all, do that and then get rid of these belts. Second of all, plop that guy down. So the copy drag function is this. And the copy drag function is phenomenal. I love the copy drag function. So let's go on ahead, let's put it here and here. Here and here. And then here and there. And lo and behold, we have enough. Now, we need 6 of these water in every second. Let me go take a look here. These produce, I'm pretty sure it's 1.2 per second, which means we only need 5 of them. Should be here. And would you look at that, we actually already have 5 of them, which means that I don't need to set this up again. I do, however, want to lower the belts to the ground. That way I don't have to deal with all of the belt going up, belt going down, belt going where, belt going belt going what. You know, that whole problem. And we do that. I'm going to fix the power, don't worry, I just wanted to reroute the belt. And just like that, we should have sulfuric acid being made, except for the fact that we don't have any of the light oil coming in. But I have so much light oil stored over here that I'm just gonna route a belt around all of our systems. Like this. How am I gonna get it back down? I can put it here. Because the belt needs to go up, is the problem that I'm currently facing. It's fine. This is temporary. Really? Okay, fine. How about this instead? How about we route it this way? Bring it up, then back down, and into the machine. Like that. How about that instead? And I'm yeah, no, I'll put 20. Because I do need the stone. And there is stone coming in. But I also need the refined oil. Also, I don't think I ever finished this belt. There it goes. And then I am going to want to upgrade the belts that transfer the fluid, because I have so much of this. With all of the red science that we did, I have so much of this for no reason, and I don't want any of it. I don't want it here. I want it in my machines. I want it working. And as you can see, there is the sulfuric acid. Good to go. Now, the way I'm gonna copy this is actually from this angle instead. I'm gonna make sure that I try not to get that one belt. And then we can do that. We paste the number. We're at 15. And then sulfuric acid. 6 SA per second. Needs 6 per second water. 12 per second stone. And it's like, I'll put a tilde 8 per second refined oil. And then we make that the sulfuric acid, save the blueprint, and there we have it. All good to go. Now, with all of that added into the power grid, I'm actually shocked it's not causing us any issues. But we are out of time for today. Look at those beautiful oil setups. Those are beautiful. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Those are beautiful. I'm very proud of this. But that is all we have time for today. Next episode, we're gonna get into the graphene production side of things here. Now that we have the sulfuric acid and we have our graphene, that won't take us very long. So once we're finished up with that, we can get into automating the sciences with our planetary logistics that we have just completed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves all a wonderful day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.